We all have weaknesses. We're human beings. We are not 100% perfect in our ego expression, our conditioned expression. Deep within us, our true self, of course, is beautiful and perfect. But our human self has some weaknesses. And society often tells us to hide those weaknesses and don't let anyone see them. And that creates a persona that is not authentic. And sometimes when we hide them, it becomes like a burden to us. It becomes heavy. It feels as though you're walking in the world on eggshells because someone is going to figure that weakness out. And when we get our buttons pushed or we feel triggered by people, it's usually because it's something that we perceive as our own weakness. So how do we deal with this? Do we get rid of it? Do we clear it away? No. What we want to do is we want to own our weaknesses. Now, owning your weakness is a superpower. So let's say for me, I always was a nerdy kid growing up. I was the brainy kid. And I remember when I was in 7th grade, my nerdy self had short hair and I didn't wear makeup and I wore unfashionable clothes. I was really nerdy. And I always tried to hide that nerdiness all the time. I used to, try to be cool and try to be fun and not show how smart I was. But eventually it just kind of caught up with me because I really wasn't being my authentic self. And so now I own my nerdiness. I'm kind of nerdy. I'm kind of dorky, and that's okay. And that's really the key is when you own your own weaknesses, you'll find people that love you not in spite of them, but because of them. A lot of us have this kind of perceived weakness that, maybe we are too vulnerable. Maybe we feel like emotionally sensitive. What if that wasn't a weakness, but what if that was a superpower? What if that showed our tenderness versus having to keep a tough persona out there, not showing emotion? What if vulnerability and tenderness and emotional upsets and crying was a strength? Also, things in your life that maybe you didn't achieve yet, use that as, instead of a weakness, see it as a strength. Include it in part of your life. Don't push it away. And I promise you, if you own your weakness and make them your superpower, no one can stop you. You're not working in the world trying to avoid being seen by those weaknesses or not trying to hide them. You're being completely transparent and saying, yep, that's who I am. And you know what? When you are that way, no one can hurt you. No one can trigger you because you're owning it. And it's wonderful. So I would love for you to think about what is one weakness that you often hide and how can you think of it as a superpower and how can you express it more and own it when it shows up?